If you've ever eaten at a Chinese restaurant, you know this moment. The meal is over, the plates are cleared, and then it arrives. No, I'm not talking about the bill. I'm talking about this. Crack it open, you read the fortune, and you smile. Maybe you laugh, maybe you take it seriously, or maybe sometimes you secretly hope it comes true. Let me see mine. Be kind and you will never walk alone. The fortune cookie feels ancient. It feels traditional. It feels Chinese. But here's the twist. The fortune cookie is not Chinese. Hi, welcome to ShowMi's. Today, let's talk about one of the most misunderstood foods in the world. Many people believe that fortune cookies have been part of Chinese culture for centuries. Some ancient tradition passed down through the generation, but that's not true. In fact, if you go to China today and ask for a fortune cookie, you're probably gonna get a confused look because fortune cookie, as we know now, that were not actually invented in China. They were invented in America, and the story begins in the early 1900s. There are actually a few competing stories about who invented the fortune cookie. So one story points to San Francisco, often crediting Makoto Hagiwara, a Japanese immigrant who used to manage a Japanese tea garden and served cookies with message as early as 1907. And another story points to Los Angeles, crediting David Jung, who claimed to have handed out cookies with inspirational messages around 1918. Historians still debate who was first. But here's the part they mostly agree on, that the fortune cookie was inspired by Japanese tradition, not Chinese. In Japan, there was already a traditional cracker. It was slightly larger, a bit darker, and inside was a folded paper, often with a fortune, a joke, or a prediction. Japanese immigrants brought this idea with them to the United States, and in the early 1900s, it evolved into the lighter, sweeter fortune cookie we recognize today. Okay, here is the biggest question. How did it become associated with Chinese restaurants? And this is where history takes a sharp turn. During World War II, starting in 1942, Japanese Americans were sent to internment camps. Their businesses were shut down, their bakeries were closed, and their communities were torn apart. Chinese restaurants, however, were allowed to remain open. There was suddenly a business gap. Customers had already come to expect fortune cookies at the end of the meal, but the original producers were gone. So the Chinese restaurant owners stepped in, not as a cultural tradition, but as a practical choice. A dessert people liked, a familiar ending to the meal, a small gestures that kept customers happy. There's also a quieter and darker layer to this story. At that time, Chinese immigrants faced heavy discrimination in the United States, but restaurants were one of the few businesses that they were allowed to run. So the fortune cookie wasn't just a dessert. It was a way to survive, a way to keep customers coming back, and a way to blend into American expectations. By 1950s-60s, fortune cookies became a standard complimentary item at Chinese restaurants across the US. People kept seeing them in the same place, and our brain did exactly what they always do. They connected the two dots. And that's how the fortune cookie became Chinese, not through history, but through habit. Now, here is the part people love the most, the fortunes themselves. You will meet someone important soon, or exciting news is coming your way. Maybe your future is clueless. Some are deep, some are vague, some makes no sense at all. And yet, we all read them very seriously. Why? Because people love meaning. Psychologists call this Barnum effect, when a vague statements feel personally accurate. So the fortune cookie actually does not predict your future. It lets you project one for yourself. And then there are the lucky numbers on the back. Believe it or not, thousands of people have actually used those numbers to play lottery. And some of them have even owned. I should try it with the cookie I opened today. Anyway, coming back to the point. This didn't happen because the cookie was magical, But because when hope meets coincidence, our brain calls it destiny. Please do not play lottery. And then there is the fun side. Some people say fortunes, some tape them to the mirrors, some make life decisions based on them. And yes, some people avoid opening them altogether just in case they don't like what they see. Because once you read a fortune, you cannot unread it anymore. What if it comes true? Today, billions of fortune cookies are produced every year. Most are made in factories. Most fortunes are written by copywriters, not mistakes. And yet, we still pause, we still smile, and we still hope. Because deep down, the fortune cookie isn't really about the future. It's about the moment. That tiny pause after a meal where you crack something open and allow yourself to believe just for a second that something good might be coming. By the way, are we really losing 10 minutes per hour because Earth has started moving faster? If not, then why years are getting shorter? Hit the subscribe button so that you won't miss the truth, because that's what we are gonna talk on our next release. Also, do you take fortune cookies seriously, or do you just eat the fortune cookie and move on? Let me know in the comment section, and please like and share if you enjoyed today's video. I'll see you soon. Till then, stay curious, stay cozy.